Welcome, everyone. Good morning.
Oh, BK is here.
Feel free
BK
to
is
join
here.
us in the welcome song. All is
The church lady is here.
I'm not worried about tomorrow. Today I declare freedom from yesterday, mistakes of the past. Today all things are made brand new. And don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should? I can change my reality by changing my mind. Perfect peace, joy, and happiness is yours and it's mine. I am loved and so are you. And don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should? Let me hear you say, all is well. All is well. Divine Spirit is directing me right now. Right now. All is well. All is well. All is well and unfolding as it should. I am clothed in the Spirit. I am led by the divine. I am one with all that is. My soul is free from time. I am blessed and so are you. And don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should? Let us hear you say, all is well. All is well. Divine Spirit is directing me right now. Right now. All is well. All is well. All is well and unfolding as it should. Let me hear you say, all is well. All is well. Divine Spirit is directing me right now. Right now. All is well. All is well. All is well and unfolding as it should. All is well and unfolding as it should.
What a way to get the morning started. Good morning. I'm Elaine Arnold, a member of Unity. Welcome to Unity of the Hill Country, where we offer a positive path for spiritual living. The Daily Word has been giving the worldwide unity movement a daily prayer since 1924. Today's reader is Miss Judy Johnson.
The affirmation for today is the boundless love of God expresses through me, I am loving. To be loving means to be kind, understanding, and generous. It means forgiving grievances easily and seeking to understand myself and others. In striving to be loving toward others, I begin with myself. Exercising self-compassion when I make a mistake makes forgiving others easier. Taking time for self-care makes it more natural for me to be a nurturing presence for others. Treating myself well helps make my generosity spontaneous and frequent. Love is the very nature of God. I am a spiritual being, which means love is my nature too. Through my loving nature, I am positive, optimistic, hopeful, and faith-filled. I am the heart and hands of God on earth. I am loving. Love is patient, love is kind, it bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. That was from 1 Corinthians 13:4-7. Let's repeat the affirmation. The boundless love of God expresses through me. I am loving.
Thanks, Judy. Affirmative prayer is essential to the Unity movement. We are honored to pray with you. All written prayer requests are sent to the 24/7 prayer vigil at Silent Unity. You can also call the hotline on the screen or submit prayers online. You are never alone in prayer. Reverend Jeanie, would you bless the prayer chest, please?
Thank you. So, in front of you on the seat back, there are prayer requests that you can fill out. You can put them in later. I did have a member of my church one time who had talked about sending a prayer request that was very urgent to her, and she sent it into Silent Unity, and she said the next week, she said, I feel so much better to know that it's being prayed over. Then the next week she showed up and she said, I never mailed it. So God sees the prayers of your heart, but if you want to, you can. So let's just take a moment and understand that the prayers in this prayer box are somebody's belief and connection with the loving God of the universe and the person or people or situations that they are praying for. We are energetic beings. When we open our hearts, we ask, always loving God, you know the desires of our heart. And we ask believing that you are reaching into these people's lives and this situation with the perfect answer at the perfect time. And we are grateful. Amen.
Thank you. Please take a moment now to silence your cell phone so it doesn't disturb our gathering. Please join me in affirming our mission and vision statements to live consciously, celebrating the divine potential in all, as well as our statement of faith, revealing oneness in a world, universal peace, love, and abundance. And we now have some special music. Please enjoy Too Much Stuff.
Hey, what are you doing with all this stuff? Oh no, you know, Jeanie doesn't know this, but this is my favorite topic. I don't like a lot of stuff. What are you doing?
Getting rid of it.
Yeah. Anybody want some of it? Big house, big car, backseat, full bar, houseboat, won't float, bank won't tote the note. Too much stuff.
Too much stuff.
Too much stuff.
There's too much stuff.
It'll hang you up, dealing with too much stuff.
Hanging out on the couch, putting on the pounds. Better walk, run, jump, swim.
Too much stuff.
Too much stuff.
You're eating
Too much stuff.
Too much stuff.
It'll wear you down, carry around too much stuff. Well, it's way too much. You're never gonna get enough. You can pile it high, but you'll never be satisfied.
$100 cab ride, fogging, can't fly, Greyhound, Amtrak, Autobahn, Cadillac.
Too much stuff.
Too much stuff.
Too much stuff.
It's too much stuff.
It'll slow you down, fooling with too much stuff. Running back, pants forward till he gets a million more. Quarterback
wants his money back.
Too much stuff.
It's too much stuff.
Too much stuff.
It's too much stuff.
You know you can't get a grip when you're slipping in all that stuff. It's way too much. You're never gonna get enough. It'll pile it high, but you'll never be satisfied.
designer shoes, backstage, big schmooze, local group can't sing. One awards for everything.
Too much stuff.
It's too much stuff.
Too much stuff.
It's too much stuff.
Just keep on going, rolling in all that stuff.
Here we go.
Well, it's way too much. You're never gonna get enough. You can pile it high, but you'll never be satisfied. Too much stuff.
Too much stuff.
Too much stuff. Ooh, ooh. Too much stuff. Ooh, ooh. Too much stuff. Ooh, ooh. It'll wear you down, dealing with too much stuff.
See, that's way too much stuff.
Way too much stuff. As we settle into our period of meditation, please enjoy our meditation song, There Is Only Love.
I hope nobody recognized any of my stuff.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see
There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love.
when I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind.
So breathe it in. Just breathe in the peace and the calm. And congratulate yourself for making it here today, because you brought your very essence here. So if you will, just put your feet flat on the floor and empty your lap of everything except your hands, and make sure that you are supported by your chair. And close your eyes and take in a few deep cleansing breaths. And when you breathe in, just breathe in the words, God is. And when you breathe out, I am. So let's breathe in, God is. And breathe out, I am. And one more time, God is, and I am. And whatever you have to do later today, just set that aside and just be here fully and in the present moment. There is power in coming together as one, in person. I was listening to Greg Braden the other day, and he said that our bodies and the 72 trillion cells are actually antenna picking up and receiving and sending out the God energy. So when we come together in person, it's a different experience. So I want you to check your body if there's any tightness or any tension or any pain. Just breathe in love and release. Love and release. Everything we ask for, believing, is given to us. So in this moment, let us believe that we are here to not only share our love and energy with others, but to learn something and to move into a new realm of understanding. Center your attention on your heart and fill it up with love, and breathe it in and breathe it out, knowing that as you leave this place today, you are literally trailing a rainbow of light and colors and love. And that people that come in contact with you feel it. So now let's come back to this room. Take in a deep breath. You might want to wiggle your fingers or your toes, and when it's comfortable, open your eyes and be fully present. Good morning. Isn't it a great day to be alive? Yes. So, I want to tell you how I came to love giving this talk and practicing clutter clearing. I grew up in Dallas, and I was the senior minister of a church for 8 years. And as a church, we would grow, and we would have to move. Well, it was painful because we had to move all that stuff. And, you know, you go like, well, how does a congregation that size get stuff? Oh, trust me. And it was bad. And I wish I had known then what I know now about the impact of clutter and about the placement of everything, because it affects everything. It affects your attitude, it affects your face and your reputation to the world, it affects your finances, it affects your health, and your relationships. So this is one of the reasons why I love doing this work, and I'm really glad you're here today, because regardless whether you stay or don't stay for the class, you are going to come away with some good stuff. So the reason I do this is because it works. And so I've written some words to a song, and I'm going to sing it for you. Oh, my closets inside are frightful. Piles of clothes are not delightful. What is this? I just don't know. Let it go, let it go, let it go. You can tell that I've been shopping. All my drawers so full they're popping. Where to start? I just don't know. I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. When I finally get it right, too many coats to keep me warm. There's no need to hold on so tight, even though I might cry and I'm warm. Lawn and plants are slowly dying. Every day there's more goodbying. Clutter clearing just makes me know. Let it go, let it flow, let it go. And when I finally get it right, clutter clearing becomes the new norm. This place is not such a fright. No more shame, no more fear, no more scorn. Well, my spirits are really flying. Every day I keep on trying. As long as I let it go, life will flow, life will flow, life will flow. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Thank you. Yeah, I told someone today I'm not a ham because hams can be cured. So speaking of relationships and speaking of things that we hang on to, clutter just doesn't clutter up our house or our car or our office or our yards. It clutters up our minds, it clutters up our emotions, it clutters up our finances, and especially when we hold on to things with a sense of shame and a sense of regret. Now, I don't know if anyone ever saw this movie. It was in 1986, and it starred Robert De Niro, and it was called The Mission. Did anyone see that? He was a Portuguese mercenary, and he was down in South America, and he'd been hired by the conquistadors to go up into the hills and to take over these little villages. And they were raping and burning and pillaging, and they were taking all of their gold and silver, and they were decimating these little indigenous families. And Robert De Niro was right in there. I mean, he was just like, doing his thing. And he met one of the Jesuits. The Jesuits were taking a stance of protection against these conquistadors. And this priest treated him with such love and forgiveness that he had an epiphany. And he realized that the way he was living his life was not good. So he repented, and he took all of his instruments of war, his maces and his muskets and his hatchets and his swords, and he put it in a big long net bag, and he tied it around his neck. And everywhere he went, he was just clank, 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 and it was just terrible. And the priest said, "Let it go. You don't need to do that." And he was like, "No, I just can't forgive myself." So anyhow, this went on for a long time. Well, one day they got word that the conquistadores were coming back, and they were going to go up in the mountains and get the Indians. And it was raining. And so he and the priest were climbing this big mountain in the rain and the wind, And he would climb up a few steps, and the weight of all of that bag would just pull him back down. And finally, in this tense moment, the priest opens up his robe, and he pulls out this long knife. And you're thinking like, uh-oh. But he cuts away all of that mess and all of the instruments of war, and it clanks down the mountain. And he was free. Now, the interesting thing is not only was he free from the actual visual part of that, but he was free to be his best person. He could actually go up into the mountains. He could actually minister to these people because he wasn't dragging around all of his fear, his shame, and his regrets. And it is a metaphor for how we torture ourselves, how we hold on to things, and how we will not forgive ourselves. As a life coach, I have a deep respect for people who reach out to get help. But I'm also a stickler on using language that is not a lie. And I have had some people tell me, I just can't. Jeanie, I just can't forgive that person. Jeanie, I just can't let go of that for myself. And I said, yes, you can. Otherwise, why are we here talking to me? And the other thing is, let's just tell the truth. You won't. So say it that way. I won't forgive that person. I won't let myself off the hook. I won't move on. And when you tell the truth, it sets you free. There was a little book that was published in 1903 by James Allen, and it is timeless. It's a tiny little book. It's called As a Man Thinketh, and many of you might be really familiar with this, but I want to read to you part of this. Mind is the master power that molds and makes, and man is mind, and evermore he takes. The tool of thought and shaping what he wills brings forth 1,000 joys, 1,000 ills. He thinks in secret, and it comes to pass. Environment is but his looking glass. Everything that we do and think in secret, we are harboring this, and it has to manifest. Now, you might say, well, that has not been my experience, Jeanie, because I've thought a lot of things and it didn't manifest. But what were you really thinking? Because every subject is two subjects. It is the belief that you have it, and it is the fear that you don't have it. Everything is two subjects. Our thoughts and beliefs are actually using the energy of God. It's God in action, God in motion. And many people call it this way. They say it's emotion. Energy in motion. So if you think about it, energy is also something that gets stuck, like wind or water. And at the workshop this afternoon, I use feng shui as a template. Feng shui simply are two words that means wind and water. It's flow. It's letting things flow. And it's been practiced for over 8,000 years in China. And it's been practiced because there is a place for everything, and there is a meaning for everywhere that you put these things. We use it's called the Feng Shui Bagua, and you'll get your own. It's very beautiful, and we'll learn how to use it. But Bagua means 8 spaces, but there are actually 9 spaces. There are 3 rows of 3, this way and this way. But the middle space on the Feng Shui Bagua is Tai Chi, or balance. It's the harmony that ties everything together. Sometimes we are knocked off our stride because things happen that we hadn't planned for. I have a sister who lives up near Fort Worth, and at the end of 2021, her husband suddenly got sick. And he had been in oil and gas all of his life. And he and his parents had lived in Venezuela. His dad was an oil man. He got sick, and within 3 months, he was dead. And she lost the big house and had to move to a smaller house. And then she had all this stuff. And, you know, she and her husband often said when he got his mother's stuff and then his father's stuff, he's like, you know, let's just get rid of this stuff. And she's like, no, I'm a historian. I really like this. Anyhow, to make a long story endless, it just piled up and piled up and piled up. And she had, her mother-in-law was a lovely lady and traveled all over the world, but she kept everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. She had my sister's husband's first hair from his haircut, 68 years prior. Every school report, every little drawing, they traveled a lot, every ticket, because, at that time, tickets like for air and rail, and they traveled to Europe and on steamships. She had every ticket that they'd ever gone. She had all the information from every house and car they had ever bought, every utility bill. I mean, it was organized, but it's like, what? And so my sister was trying to get over her grief and still trying to go through all of this stuff. So she finally did, and it took her a couple of years, and she started pulling out things that her children and her grandchildren would like, and giving things away, and she returned a bunch of things to his family. But it was so heavy of a burden. And I just want to inject this. If you're hanging on to a bunch of stuff, all of us are going to leave this earth plane at some time. Don't do this to your kids, okay? Don't do this to your kids and grandkids. It's just not fair. So I want to do a quick check. And you don't need to raise your hands, but I want you to simply make an internal note when you have faced or are currently facing some of these challenges. Have you ever experienced lack of money or financial challenges? Have you at any point, including now, ever felt unloved or unappreciated? Have you ever found yourself stuck in a job, a situation, or a location? Have you ever had relationship problems that seem insurmountable? Have you ever had the experience of spiritual desolation? Have you ever had unremitting fear or overwhelming shame? Has your creativity died or been ignored? And are you experiencing chronic pain and disability? Now, these are just part of the human experience as we struggle and as we try to, make things work and learn enough. But there comes a point when you have to address it and say, I'm not going to live like this anymore. Have you ever heard the old statement, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger? The universe thinks I'm a badass. I have a friend who in Dallas, and she died, but Michelle was hilarious. And people would tell her about this, and they'd say, oh, it builds character. And she would say, I don't need any more character. I got bags of character. I need help. And I thought, that's the truth. A Course in Miracles says this: would you rather be right, or would you rather be happy? Now, when I was first starting to study A Course in Miracles, my little smart mouth was like, well, when I'm right, I'm happy. But that wasn't true, because if I could only be happy if I was right, someone else had to be wrong. And God forbid, if I actually didn't believe I was right, but I was just sticking to my story, I was not allowed to be happy. The truth is, I don't need to be right about this stuff. I choose to be happy. And if, in fact, we are carrying around all this stuff, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, there is no room for freedom and flow and happiness. We've got all this story going in our head. How about looking at ourselves and others through the eyes of love and forgiveness? How about just forgiving yourself? I want to tell you this. Nobody ever woke up a day in their life and said, how can I screw up my life? No. I mean, even people who are out doing what we consider bad things, they honestly think that that would make them feel better in this moment. Who am I to say? As long as they don't bump into my world, I'm good. And then I can still see them through the eyes of love and forgiveness. But I would invite you to forgive yourself. I invite you to look at the things that you've done or not done and make a different choice. Let it go. Forgive yourself. I do this, our thymus is right here, and this is part of the EFT, the emotional freedom technique, tapping. And if I'm upset or something, I'll just tap my thymus and take a deep breath. And I'll say, I am enough. Would you do that with me? Just right here. I am enough. I am enough. I don't hear you. I am enough. I am so enough, it's not even funny. I have always been enough. And I love that about myself. That felt good, didn't it? A Course in Miracles also says this: everything is either love or a cry for love. Think about this. Are you crying for love and acting it out in ways that are not beneficial to you and others? What's your story? Are you a member of the really exclusive BMW club? It's not the car company. It's the bitch, moan, and whine. What's your story? Okay? Change your story. Because you can take an inventory of your life right now, and you can change things. You can let that energy flow, that emotional part of God that loves you exactly the way you are and exactly the way you are not. How are you going to put love into action today? I mean, a simple smile can change someone's day. I was sitting on my front patio the other day. We live downtown in what used to be our winery. And we live, I mean, my patio is like right on the street. And I've got louvers and stuff. But right about a block or two down, there's a house there that's kind of sketchy. You know what I mean? And so I was sitting out there with my dogs, and this young man comes up. He's got long hair, and he's not dressed very nicely, but he's kind of looking up on my porch. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to say good morning. I said, good morning. He said, hey, good morning. He said, isn't it a beautiful day? And I said, it is a beautiful day. Who knew? You know what? I could have been hiding out on that porch going, oh, I hope he doesn't see me. But, you know, I don't know if it changed his day. Sure changed mine. You know, be fearless. Take the first step. Smile at someone. Hold the door open. Give someone a sincere compliment. Make yourself available. In closing, I want to tell you the greatest thing is that we can change our mind, we can change our circumstances, we can change everything right now and right here. We have that power. But we have to change our stories. I call them the ODS, Old Delicious Stories. And you know how delicious they are when you lean into them and you just can't wait to tell that delicious story. It's full of intrigue and, you know, action and, you know, people like going, oh my gosh, feeling sorry for you. You know, I've told you this story before, but I've broken my back a couple of times. And I just loved to tell that story because, you know, people would just give me all this attention. And I had to change that story in order to be well and not live with pain. And that is the truth. I got tired of the drama. I got tired of the pain because as long as I was hanging on to that, it had to show up that way. It was cluttering my life. It was cluttering my life. You know, you get up and you just feel heavy and you just feel awful. And then, you know, you snap into it. Oh, yeah, I got back pain. Oh, okay, well, let me just walk like this for a little while. You know, I know how it is. But I also know that you can make up your mind, say, I'm not having this anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not going to hang on to the stories like, well, you know, other people were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Okay. That wasn't your life. You can still do something with your life. Well, nobody ever taught me any better. Okay, you're an adult. Teach yourself. I'm serious. Get rid of these stories, people. It's cluttering your life. You know, one of the things that I was talking with Brad about is probably after the first of the year, I'm going to come in here and we're going to get volunteers who want to help. And we're going to clutter clear this church. Believe me, I have seen lots of churches, and I have seen the belly of the beast. And closets full of, hymnals that nobody uses, and costumes that kids, used to have things, and oh, that precious thing that Mrs. So-and-so gave us 50 years ago, but we don't dare throw it away. And then there is the energy of everyone who comes in here and all of the leaders of the church. And even if everything was fine, but they moved on, their energy field is still here. So we're going to do a clutter clearing, and we're going to then do a sacred space clearing, and then we're going to do a feng shui reset. Who would like that? It's going to be fun. It really is. And I'm really looking forward to this. So I want you to remember the words of the psalmist David when he said, "Let the words of my mouth, what I say, and the meditations of my heart, what I think, be acceptable in your sight." What is that story in your head? What is the clutter that's cluttering? And are you ready to just get rid of it? Our thoughts and our words lead to our actions. And there are certainly steps that we can take in the physical realm. And I hope you will join us this afternoon, because not only is it very informative, but it's fun. My friend Cindy, when I gave this message and this workshop up in San Angelo, she was there with her husband, Dennis, and he was like, "I don't know if I'm going to stay for that." And she went, "Dennis, we're in the same car. Just stay." So he did. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. That boy left on fire. He went home. He cleaned out that garage. He took his old golf clubs and his exercise equipment that he called the world's most expensive clothes hanger, and he put them online. He sold them immediately. He cleaned up his home office, took stuff off the floor, cleaned up the desk, threw away things, filed everything. In 2 days, he had 2 brand new clients in the oil and gas industry. He is one of my fan club because it works. So thank you for being here today. I'm so glad to see everyone here. I love you, I bless you, and I behold the Christ in you. Thank you.
Turn the page. If it's your first time at Unity, we're glad you're here. We hope you are finding a place of like-minded people and a place to belong. We teach spiritual tools that can help you no matter what is going on in your life. An usher can bring you a welcome packet if you'd like, or you can grab one on your way out. Please fill out the contact form if you wish to be part of our weekly email newsletter. We now have an opportunity to support our spiritual cooperative. We thank you in advance for your generosity. Please join me in blessing what you are giving now. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I send it forth with my blessings and my love.
Freely, freely I have received. Freely, freely I give. Divine love through me blesses all that I am, all that I give and receive.
We open our hearts in gratitude as we release these donations. We send these gifts forward through our congregation and into our world, blessing all that it affects. Thank you. Are you talking? No? Okay. We've reached the end of our gathering. Please rise up, circle up, and join hands, and we'll do the peace song and our prayer for protection.